Well, howdy, y'all. This is the Hickey Bicky, yeah. This is the Hickabilly Polite coming to you. And have I got a story of a story to tell you today? I want to talk to you today about the good old days. Now, for some of you, you may think the good old days is only 5 or 10 years ago because you're so young. But for me, we're looking at maybe 30, 40, or 50, even 50 years ago. Now, I know, I probably don't look a day over 35. But, because I hold my age so well. But, yep, I'm about that old. I'm close to being older than dirt. But anyway, so I want to talk to you about, again, the good old days and how things were back then, as opposed to the way they are now. And this might be a series of a couple of stories here, so be on the lookout for a part 2, a part 3, or whatever. But I got a whole line of stuff, and I really don't like to keep you going for no more than 5 or 10 minutes, so just bear with me on this. But anyway, I want to talk to you about whiteys. Now, I'm not getting racial with you or anything, but I won't talk to you about whiteys. Now, some people in the East Coast and the West Coast may not know nothing about whiteys, otherwise known as White Castles. Now, I'm telling you, these little burgers are something else. I mean, they are great. I mean, they sometimes call them one bites, or they call them sliders. I'll have to tell you about sliders in a minute, why they're called sliders. But anyways, what's cool about these burgers is they got these little buns, and inside they got square hamburger meat with holes in it. But you want to know something? Back when I was a little hickabilly Polak, they was only about 10, 12 cents. And I know it's hard to believe, but the nice part about it is you could eat, probably about 5 or 6 of them. They was just so good. I mean, man, you ate one. I mean, they called it a one bite because you stuck it in your mouth and it just, boom, it was gone. And you were like looking for where the heck the rest of it went without realizing you just ate the whole darn hamburger. So you got to go over there and go get yourself another one. So anyway, so they're called whiteys, like I said. So when you eat them, there's a big problem, though. They're so good. But I'm telling you, they give you gas like you would not believe. I mean, if you want to be a betting person and somebody don't know anything about White Castles, you can bet them any amount of money that I want you to eat these 4, and in an hour you're going to get gas. You will win. Because these are gassy. I mean, they're so bad. One minute you're smiling and you're eating away, and then the next minute, it's like, oh, did I let that slip? No, it's probably the other one, like maybe the missus or something, because she's eating whiteys too, but she ain't going to say nothing. And I sure the heck ain't going to say nothing. So we just eating away, looking at each other, smelling, and we know that one or the other released it. We ain't going to tell, but we just keep eating and smiling and eating and smiling. So one day I went over there thinking that, it's got to be the onions on these things. Because all they are is a square hamburger with holes. They got some chopped up fried onions on them and a pickle, and then they put the burger on there. And so I figured one day I'm going to order it without the onions. Nope. It ain't the onions, still get the gas. And I thought, well, maybe I need to find out. Well, basically, if you look at Whitey's got the onions somehow or another mixed in with the meat. So you're getting onions no matter what. So gas is part of it. Now you wonder why they call it the sliders. Well, I'll tell you, you get the gas first. And then towards evening time, I don't know if you eat it in the evening, then towards the morning time, I think you can understand why they call them the sliders. But if not, basically, you got to run to the bathroom because they're sliding out. They come in one way, but they're going out the other. And there ain't no stopping that either. That's what they're known for. And you might say, well, why would anybody eat them? Well, number one, there's only 10 to 12 cents. And number two, they're just so good. So, I mean, back then that was like the thing. Now, another thing that was interesting is growing up, we had a guy, I'll call him the fruit man. He'd be over there, and he'd be screaming, watermelon, apples, oranges, excuse me. And all of a sudden, Mom she'd be running over there and she says, "Oh man, the fruit man's here. We're gonna sit there now and go get us some fruit for the day." So she'd be over there in her purse, trying to pick out some of the dimes and quarters because, fruit was cheap back then. But he came by, and it's going to show you how long ago this was. He came by on a horse with a cart. And all the food was in the cart. So as he's yelling this stuff down, he's walking down the street with the horse. And so, we go running out there and everything. And as a kid, I was like, oh boy, that's pretty good. The fruit man's here. I'm excited because I get to check out the horse. It's not like every day you get to see a horse. So, but the problem was with the fruit man, and I mean, it was nice and cheap and all, but you had to watch out because it was dangerous to be around that fruit man. And you might say, dangerous? They say, yeah, because you got a horse and it's got to go too. And it's almost like a rabbit. I mean, you look and it pooped. And I mean, it's a big poop. One where if you don't watch it, you trip over it. But instead, when you step on it, you slide. And I'm telling you, the disco era started from the fruit man. And you might say, well, how the heck could that be? And I'm going to tell you, and I bet you the choreographer for John Travolta learned it from the people who were buying the fruit at the fruit man. Because all of a sudden, as they would step, they'd be going, ah, 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 staying alive, ah, 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 staying alive. I'm telling you, that's what started it. That's what made John Travolta famous. It was the fruit man. Had nothing to do with anything else. So that's one thing that I enjoyed as a youngster is going to the fruit man to pet the horse and watch the people go, ah, 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 ah. So anyway, then I got another one for you. I don't know if where you live, you got an Ole Days. Okay, but back then, and I think Ole Days is still around, what I liked about Ole Days is when you went to go get a shopping cart, they was interconnected with another shopping cart. And the only way you can get them disconnected is you had to stick a quarter in. You stick a quarter in, it pushes out of the lock, and while you're watching your quarter as you're shopping, it's sitting in the shopping cart. The only way you're going to get that shopping cart back is you got to go over there and push the shopping cart back into another shopping cart, which pushes that quarter out. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty good because you don't have these shopping carts in the, where they all park their cars. But the interesting part is for some reason you got some people, and I don't know why, maybe kids or something they got to watch or something else, but they leave the shopping carts. So lo and behold, I look, there's a quarter in there. So I go running that cart over to the other shopping cart and push it out, and I got me a quarter. Man, I got so excited. I mean, I was so excited I couldn't believe it. I was like, where the heck is the next Walmart? Or not Walmart, where's the next Aldi's? Because then I was over there, I was quarter hunting. I was making more money than probably them homeless people that have a cardboard sign that say, homeless, please help or whatever. I was in every Aldi's I could find, and I would run to them shopping carts, and like a good guy, I would put them shopping carts away because I was happy because I'd put the shopping cart away and I would get me another quarter. I mean, that was a good deal. They kept the shopping carts free to where they wouldn't be hitting the cars, and I was, thankful I was getting a quarter for each one. So, I mean, that was a good deal. And then I got to tell you about, and maybe you never saw one, but there was a hot dog guy. He'd be at the corner, and I'd watch him, and it'd be about 11, 12 o'clock, mostly on the weekends, too. I mean, he'd do it mostly on the weekends. He would push this cart, and there'd be steam coming out of it, and he'd sometimes have himself an umbrella to keep the sun from shining on him. And he would sit there, and he'd be selling hot dogs and tamales out of the cart. Now, that was a pretty good deal because you'd see the kids running and, my mom herself would say, go pick up 2 hot dogs, or 3 hot dogs. And those were the good Chicago-style hot dogs where they had the black poppy seeds all over the buns, and they had all the good stuff on them, the hot dog. You just said, man, give me everything. And he'd load it up, and it was cheap. But I tell you, I'd only go to the guy the first hour or so that he was there. And I'll tell you why. Because all of a sudden, you'd see him disappear. And it's like, where did he go? And so I'd be looking around the corners, and there he was around the alley. He'd be behind a garbage can. I'm like, what the heck is he? Oh, I know what he's doing. So then after I saw that a couple times, he'd come back out. He'd be coming smiling, and he's like, okay, what you want? You want a hot dog? Well, I don't want no hot dog, not with them fingers. There ain't no way I'm eating one of them hot dogs, because he went to the toilet. And he was touching something that I did not want his fingers to be touching my food. So my advice is, if you ever see a hot dog guy, make sure that he's only been there about an hour or so, because after that, he got to go and do his business. And since there ain't no place to go other than maybe behind the garbage can in the alley, you don't want to be getting any hot dogs after he's go ahead and he's doing that. And then, let me see, penny candies. What I liked about penny candies now is they was literally a penny. I know you can't believe it, because with candy bars today, they're over $1. But you go walk in there, and they'd have them in a barrel. And there'd be, they'd be like red, round licorices that were shaped like a penny, actually. And you get some of them, you can grab 2 for a penny. Now, the bad part about it is everybody had their hands in it. So, you had to look around and make sure that you picked out the candies that didn't have any stains on them from somebody who may have had something in their hands, and when they was picking, they left it. You don't mind having some candy, but you don't want to have any extra to eat or anything, like that, or where did it all come from? But anyways, I've been already making this video a little bit too long for you. But if you have a story to share, put it in the comment section. And I'll be happy to read it, and I'm sure our subscribers would like to see it too. And don't forget to hit that like button. And as always, God bless, and you have a wonderful day.